Alright, so editing video on a deadline. There's a lot of ways to shoot, and it's a very subjective medium, so these are really kind of vague guidelines. You have to adapt to every different situation, and obviously there's no one-size-fits-all for video for any medium really. But these are practical things that I've learned. These are not set in stone rules or anything. It's just something to kind of guide you as you try this out for some people, maybe the first time. And you can mess with it and find variations that work better for you. So, I've got a few different rules. 3 main points. Shoot to edit. Edit on the fly and integrate interviews into B-roll and not the other way around. So, for shooting to edit, this is the most important rule. Your editing is going to be, it's always going to take longer than your shooting, but you can cut down on your editing exponentially if you shoot thoughtfully. So if you're thinking about editing while you're shooting, then your editing is going to go much easier, and it's going to go much faster, and it's actually maybe going to be enjoyable, so maybe you'll want to do it again someday, you know. So one of the rules is to keep your clips short. So clips and shots are different. Clips are actually how long between when you press record and you press record again to stop it, right? So that's a clip. A shot is your single one frame of whatever you're looking at. So you might get a shot here, and then before stopping recording, turn the camera and get another shot. Those are 2 shots, but it's 1 clip because you only had because you were still recording while you turned the camera. Try not to do that. Try not to get multiple shots in a clip. If you need to, you know, if something crazy's happening, you know, do what you need to do, but it's going to go much shorter if you get 1 shot in a clip, and then stop it, turn, get your next shot, set it up, and then so you have 2 different clips. When you're editing, you don't have to go through and cut them apart. You can just have that and tighten it up and be done with it. Yeah, don't sit on a shot too long. You don't need 15 seconds of someone doing one action. It's just not very interesting video unless that action is incredible, if they're standing on their head for 15 seconds, you know. So set up your shot first. What people don't realize, and I think a big problem that we have is, well, that any reporter is going to have, is that you just don't have the time when you're out there to shoot video, or you think you don't have the time because you think you need 15 different shots. Really, every shot can be broken down into 3 different shots. You can take what you would normally have is 5 seconds of video and make that 15 by using, I mean, not for every shot, but by using long, medium, and close shots. So you have, let's say someone's sitting at a table doing crafts. You have a long shot of them, which means from far away, it's kind of an establishing kind of thing of someone sitting at a table from far away. You can stop the camera, zoom in a little bit, and get a medium shot, which is maybe from the waist to chest upwards. You zoom it in, that's a 2nd shot. That's another 3 to 5 seconds that you just added onto your video. Then you zoom in on their hands and get a 3rd shot. That's 15 seconds of video if it's worth looking at. So, and that took you 25 seconds to actually do it. You know, so you can get enough footage for a video in 5 minutes, no problem. You know, you can get a 1-minute video in 5 minutes between interviews. So I think finding that time, you know, when you would normally be scribbling notes, you can actually find more interviews, find more details that you can mention in your story by going and shooting video instead of writing your notes right then. Now here's an example of shot variety. It actually uses a pattern of 1 medium and 2 close shots. I described before the long, medium, and close shots. This is just a variation on that. So here we'll see a medium shot, close detail shot, another close detail shot. And this is a way of guiding people through an image by closing in on details. Think of the close shots as description and the medium long shots as sort of paraphrasing. And here's another example. Here we have a medium shot, close shot, and close detail shot. And those close detail shots are your way of drawing the audience's attention towards something. Okay, one action per clip. It's kind of like what I was saying before. Try not to get a whole bunch of different shots in one clip. Don't just hit record and video for 2 minutes running around. That's going to take you 10 minutes just to find your good footage in that. If you do it piece by piece, then when you go back to edit, it'll take you 2 minutes to find the good stuff. Focus on a major course of action. When you have a break in interviews, follow one person or group or action that you find most interesting. You know, you don't even have to talk to those people if they're busy doing something. Just follow them through whatever they're doing, and just shoot a couple of things that they're doing. If you shoot a couple of things they're doing, it will naturally fall into a timeline. You don't have to do much editing. I mean, you do have to cut it, but there's not really anything to worry about. It tells a story on its own of someone going through this action. So here's an example of following an action. It's not the most exciting of videos, but it gets the point across. And here we'll have that shot from our interview, someone getting onto a bus. That bus has changed places, and someone is getting off of a bus. And while that's not the most exciting sequence, all I did was follow someone for 10 minutes, and we got a video that does tell a visual story. And the editing process was extremely simple because I did not need to reorder anything, just took the clips and put them in sequence. Yeah, B-roll. Like I was saying, B-roll is anything but an interview, basically. It's much more important than interview footage. Actually looking at someone talking for a full minute is not, you know, it's not that entertaining. It's, unless that person is super flamboyant or interesting for whatever reason. But just looking at someone for an entire minute while they talk is not that interesting. Getting that audio is important for your video. You really only need like a few seconds of them actually talking. Once you establish that person talking, then it's done. You only need a quick shot of that, and then their audio is the only thing that's important after that. B-roll is what's actually important. So yeah, get the interview, sound on tape. It's just an arrogant video person way of saying audio. So I probably should have just said audio to not sound like a jerk, but too late. So yeah, keep the camera around your neck. A quick note about framing for interviews. There's, it's just something to keep in mind. Keep the person's eyes in the top third of the frame, okay? Because if it's in the middle third or the bottom third, it's really unnatural looking because it's not how you would see someone. If you're looking someone in the eyes, they're not going to be right here, which is actually the middle of your vision. They're going to be right here. And here's an example of how to integrate your interview into your B-roll. This is a little bit unusual. It's not typically how I would frame an interview, but it's how I did it in this case. So here we have some B-roll while the interview is actually going on. The audio is of the interview. Usually I would start off showing the interview, but in this case I felt that this was a better way to do it. Now I show the shot of the interview. Notice that his eyes are in the upper third of the frame. We have his title. It's not too close, but it does cut off the top of his head, which is alright because viewers' imaginations are strong enough.